I bet you didn't know you could be sentimental about a hammer, but I am. This is a hammer that was my grandmother's, and it's one of my favorite hammers. I use this hammer whenever I'm doing forging, which is altering the cross section of a piece of metal. I love this hammer because it is a little bit narrower on this side and wider on this side, and it moves metal very quickly. So this is my favorite hammer. This was another one of my grandmother's hammers. I need to refurbish the hammer head on it. You can see it's a little wobbly from over the years. There's my grandma's name, Duke.
A lot of these tools, a lot of these hammers up here belong to my father, who was an industrial arts instructor, and he died when I was 7 years old, but Mother kept his tools, and through the years they've been passed down to me. This is not my whole collection of tools because I have shared so many with Chelsea, and she has all of my stakes that belong to my daddy that she used to raise a bowl or a coffee pot or whatever. That's another whole process in metals.
So today I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the tools that I've inherited over the years. And a majority of the tools did come from my grandmother and my mother. But these tools in particular were my grandmother's tools, and these are called raising stakes, and they're for shaping pieces of metal to turn them into 3D forms. You can see my grandma's name is still written on here, Duke, the Duke of Troy. But I like handling these tools. I feel like I'm connected to my ancestors when I handle these tools. Not only to my grandmother, but also to her father, because some of these tools were passed down from her father to her, and then to me. This is a tool that my grandmother made from a car part in a blacksmithing class. This is called a sinusoidal stake, and this is used to form synclastic and anticlastic forms. I've used this stake that she made to make rings, but this is one tool that I feel most connected to because my grandmother made it herself. This is another tool that she made. This is for larger forming. It's good for making cuff bracelets. This isn't a very common practice of metalsmithing. The raising and sinking technique isn't something that a lot of metalsmiths spend their time doing, but typically you start with a flat sheet of metal, such as a circle that was cut out flat, and after annealing it, you can start to what's called sink the vessel. And after you've sunk the vessel enough, you will be able to start raising it after you hammer it in concentric circles, starting from the center and working your way out. This is a vessel I began raising at this point. So you start with sinking. That's hammering it into an impression like a tree stump that has like a bowl carved out of it. Once you get to a certain point, you can start using the end of a stake and hammering it around here and raising this vessel up. For me, I enjoy making these kind of skull cups that I hammer the face into the copper. And I do that with these tools that were passed down to me from my grandmother. This was a technique that she taught when she taught metals. And it's a technique that I hope to teach one day. Here's one of her tools that's in need of refurbishing. So I was planning on spending some time refurbishing this one today. You can see the buildup of rust from over the years where it hasn't been used in quite some time. So this will be a project. Refurbishing and restoring respecting the tool and respecting its history. My grandmother, Patricia Duke's father, Van Thornton, was born June 7th, 1896, in Bocahoma, Choctaw Nation, Indian Territory. His mother, Sally Nash, who was Choctaw Native American, died when Van was 7 years old. She had been badly burned when her dress caught on fire while she was brushing her daughter's hair in front of a wood-burning stove. She panicked and ran into the yard where she rolled on the ground trying to put out the fire. Van ran to the bucket where they kept water for the kitchen and carried several dippers full to try to put the fire out. He always blamed himself for the death because he didn't have enough presence of mind to take the whole bucket of water. Van was sent to a Catholic assimilation school where he ran away from and was later adopted by the Choctaw Nation. Some of these are his old metalsmithing tools.
It's very important that you don't let your tools rust and that you keep them clean.